There's a lot of cheating and skullduggery going on in this movie.
Yes.
It was full of dirty, rotten scoundrels.
Yes. Yeah. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Yes, the classic uh, Steve Martin, Michael Caine con artist comedy. Um, and this movie, I hadn't watched this movie in a long time, and there was a lot I'd forgotten about it. Um,
Yeah, I at very least I knew the ending of the movie. I don't know how much of the lead up I had seen.
yeah.
That is of course the thing about in the era of terrestrial and cable TV, you're always catching random parts of movies if you were just channel surfing.
Oh yeah. 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 This movie popped up a lot on like TBS and Comedy Central and those
Yep,
great
that makes sense.
cable stations. Um, but yeah, so the the premise of the movie is you got Michael Caine's character, Lawrence Jameson, who is a gentleman con artist. He lives in what was the name of the town in France?
Something on the Mediterranean coast.
Yeah, it's in the French Riviera. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, so he's in this Mediterranean, this beautiful French town where he's running this he runs this con where he gets like basically old lady, or not old, but like older women who are like very morally what's that?
He like goes after people with like more money than sense.
Right. Yeah. And of course the women that he targets are kind of like they're very morally corruptible, or just not. They're not very like they're not good people, or they're not very bright. Yeah,
Right.
like
They're
as you
just very
said.
naive.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he runs this con where he pretends to be this prince from this, exiled prince from this, war torn country, and he just needs needs this money to help fund the resistance and this other and of course he's got the chief of police in this town is working with him on this, um and he's of course he's got his own butler who's played by oh god, I can't remember his name, but Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars.
That was him. Oh,
That was
that's
him. Yes.
hilarious.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah. um so he's running this con, and of course he's got this beautiful chateau out there right there on the water, and he because he goes to Switzerland to deposit his cash, and as he's on the train going back, he encounters Steve Martin's character, Freddie Benson, and he's just a very
If Michael Caine is a scalpel, he's just a shiv.
yeah, yes, yeah. He's subtlety is not his is not in
Actually,
his repertoire. Yeah,
actually, shiv is wrong. If Michael Caine is a scalpel, he's just a sledgehammer in terms of his
yes,
approach.
yeah. Because he gets on the train and he sits across from this woman, and he tells this sob story about his grandmother, and
It's always his grandmother.
yeah, it's always his grandmother, and she's really sick, and I can't pay the hospital bill, and I don't have any money. And so the woman calls the waiter and says, "Oh, have him, just order whatever you want." And he orders just a whole bunch of food. And Michael Caine's looking at him like, "Oh, come on, man."
Yeah, he's just completely shameless.
Yeah,
Just bringing shame to the fine art of being a gentleman con man.
yeah, yes. Um, and so then they share a train car, and then he tells him, "Oh yeah, I'm going to this town, and because I hear there's a lot of really great pickings there." And they like, "Oh no," and Michael goes, "No, you don't want to go there. It's just a bunch of old people. They're no, like, oh, you want to go to Italy." Like, oh, okay.
But of course, he knows when someone's trying to get him off the scent of a good scam.
Right. Yeah. And so basically, like the first part of the movie is Michael Caine is just trying to get rid of Steve Martin because he's on his turf. He's like, hey, this is my territory. Get out of here. But then he eventually takes him on to be like his partner, basically.
Yep. Yeah, like, and the movie is kind of, it has a very long first act because you have to have that setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that was my only real complaint about the thing is that, like, on the one hand, you kind of need the long first act to set things up. On the other hand, it's like the movie is more fun once it gets to the meat of the matter.
Yeah. Yeah, because they well, what's funny is he's basically training him to act like a gentleman.
Yep.
Coleman, slicking his hair back and wearing nice clothes, and teaching him how to put, the posture and the walk and everything. And then they start running this con, and he's the
Rupert the Monkey Boy. Is that what that is?
Yeah, you got me playing Rupert the Monkey Boy, who's this. He's his brother who is developmentally challenged,
to put it mildly.
To put it mildly,
yeah. I mentioned this when we were watching it, that the one thing that would completely destroy this whole scam is, what if they run into a nice woman who doesn't mind helping out somebody who's disabled?
Right. Yeah. Well, then they'd have to come up with a way to get rid of her, I guess. It's just like they'd have to do something and be like, okay, yeah. He's like, oh, okay, never mind, I'm out of here.
Right. The Rupert the Monkey Boy scenes are probably like the strictly funniest part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it is a Steve Martin. Steve Martin is very good at acting pathetic.
Yes.
I guess the way I'll put it.
Yeah. May I use the bathroom? Yes, you may.
He just makes a face.
Yeah, he just has that blank stare. Like, thank you.
Mommy?
Mommy, yeah.
No, Rupert.
No, Rupert. Yeah, but yeah, so once they get through all that, and then they run this scam, but then Steve Martin doesn't get his take of the earnings. So then Michael Caine does them
because basically like, oh, that's your tuition, basically.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He said, you're here to learn. You're not here to make money. And so then they make a gentleman bet that they could con the next woman, whoever the next woman they run into, and the next woman they run into is let's see, her name
specifically Michael Caine is trying to get him out of his town.
Right.
So the challenge is whoever can con the next person,
right,
gets to keep the territory.
Right. Yes. And so then the next mark is her name is Janet Colgate, played by Glenn Headley, and she the only other movie I recognize her from was Dick Tracy. She played Dick Tracy's girlfriend. But yeah, she's in France because of she supposedly won some contest for, like, I can't remember what it was. It was like a laundry detergent or something, and yeah.
Actually, no, that's a detail I'll mention later.
Oh,
because this movie does have a bit of it has a twist that might seem fairly actually, they do a pretty good job of covering up where they're going with it, I would say.
Right. Yeah, they do. Yeah. And but yeah, so both Caine and Martin run their own little cons. Like Steve Martin's pretending to be a disabled veteran who, he's got really bad PTSD, and he's talking about his wife, and you're like, I saw my wife, dancing with this guy, and and then
ever since then my legs don't work.
Yeah. And of course Michael Caine tries to do his whole, I'm a prince from another country bit, but then he can't do that. So then he gets in on Martin's con by pretending to be this doctor that, Martin's like, oh, I need to see this one doctor from,
Doc, Dr. Whatever Steiner.
Right, yeah, I need to. And then Michael Caine shows up pretending to be the doctor. But
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, so basically the rest of the movie is basically just them trying to, trying to get this money from this woman, and and then
Right.
Yeah.
They're trying to out-con each other.
Right. Yeah. And of course, by the end of the movie, it doesn't work out for either of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do some non-spoiler talk here first, because there is a fairly large spoiler, and we'll get into that in a minute. So they do a good job of just making their two styles contrast quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because Michael Caine is a nice, suave con artist, whereas Martin, he's just kind of pathetic. Honestly, it's kind of like the dude has no dignity in this movie. Like whatever he needs to get $20, he will. He is the meme. $20 is $20.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's the guy that you run into outside of a liquor store, and he's like, hey man, I lost my job, and I'm I just need $20.
I lost my wallet, and I have to get my grandmother's dying, and she really wants this last drink, and
yeah. Like, okay, dude, whatever.
And another thing about it's like a very consistent part of his style. Like he's just acts completely pathetic at all times, whereas Michael Caine is more going for the suave gentleman who is just like temporarily down on his luck.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Martin cons you. You want to punch him in the face. Michael Caine cons you. Is like, oh wow, yeah.
Well, that was nice of him to pay attention to me for a bit.
Yeah. Well played, sir. Yeah.
So of course, like the fun of the movie is watching these two very different actors bounce off each other. It's like that is now something that occurs. This is maybe one of the sillier roles I've seen Steve Martin in.
Yeah.
Like the only one I can really think of that competes with this one is The Jerk.
Yeah,
like how stupid he lets himself look.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of another one that were kind of similar, but nothing's coming to my mind right now.
Right, it does kind of stand out. Also, I don't usually associate Michael Caine with anything this comedic, so that makes it interesting in itself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is certainly a different, different role for him, different genre at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like non-spoiler thoughts. This is a fun movie. Like I said, the only nitpick I have is the opening act maybe goes on a little longer than it needed to, strictly speaking. But
yeah,
it's like if your biggest complaint is that you have too much of the setup, then you're not in too bad a shape.
Yeah.
All right. It's currently available on Tubi. Spoiler alert in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I would call this a second viewing because the part of the movie I happened to catch was, of course, the ending.
Yeah.
And I got to say, knowing that the woman that they were going after was a con artist herself the whole time.
Yeah.
It was kind of blatantly obvious once on a rewatch with me knowing what to look for.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that way, but it's like, or I should say, no, it's kind of the only way the movie could go. They did a pretty decent job of not telegraphing it too much, but like the detail I had put a pin in earlier was that like her name was Colgate and she won a competition for something soap related.
Right. Yeah. Well, and when she was talking to Michael Caine in the one scene when she's like, "Oh, talking about her money," and I said, "Well, I really want to do something else with it. I'm not really rich. I just won this money from whatever," and all
Right.
this. Yeah, and then he starts to feel guilty about like, "Oh, I can't take this woman's money."
Yep. Which that is some first class manipulation there.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's the other big difference is that Michael Caine's character actually has like a heart and some sort of code of conduct,
yeah,
which just
yeah,
makes
yeah.
a which makes for a nice contrast.
Yeah, he only takes from people that are just really awful, and then he'll use the money to like enrich like other people in other places. Like he goes to the museum and he's showing this all the artwork that he helped restore, and like the done all the landscaping around his mansion and everything.
Yep, like he's like oh yeah, look at this beautiful art I've retained or not retained I've preserved, etc., etc.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course Steve Martin's just like, I don't care about this stupid statues. Come on.
Yeah, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like he's just so gauche.
Oh yeah, yeah. And but yeah, when she finally gets them is just the when the realization hits them that they're like, oh, she conned us both.
She got us good.
Yeah. And Steve Martin's really mad about it, but Michael Caine's just like, okay.
Right. Game recognizes game.
Yes. But yeah, no, I thought that they play that off really well. Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, like no too serious complaints about this movie. It's just it's one of those movies that is perhaps a little difficult to review just because it is handled so well.
Yes. Yeah. Um, I highly recommend this movie over the remake.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the remake. So
Yeah.
you never actually saw it, right? You just knew of it.
I know I knew of it. Yeah. Yeah. I can't even remember what it's called. But it's with basically Anne Hathaway's playing the Michael Caine character and Rebel Wilson's playing the Steve Martin character. And let's see, it is called The Hustle.
And I gotta say that I don't care. I cannot foresee any circumstance in which Rebel Wilson would be a successful. Is seductress even the right term? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, seductress. Yeah.
or like con woman? Because it's like,
Yeah.
like if there's anything the internet has taught us in the last few years, it's what the path to ripping off men looks like, and it usually looks more like step one, dress in seductive outfit. Step two, imply sleeping will happen. Step
Yeah.
three, be conventionally attractive.
Yes. Yeah, and string them along as long as you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or just make it a mass con and start an OnlyFans. But that's that's the
Yeah. Yeah. This is yeah.
and not to what never mind. I know that this is actually besmirching Rebel Wilson a bit. I cannot foresee her successfully targeting some of these people. So
No, I can't either. Um, but no, yeah. If you have not already watched this movie yet, definitely give it a watch.
indeed.
Yeah, but I think we've said all we need to say for tonight.
And perhaps more than we needed to say.
Yes.